Hello, welcome to Evergreen Creators, where digital marketers, video creators, podcasters, authors, and publishers, and content creators come to master their financial success. So I'm really in love with the whole process of creating books really fast. The way to do it without wasting your time or spending your time is to have ghostwriters write it. So you can hire ghostwriters on places like Urban Writers or Fiverr and things like that. And that's great if you already have income coming in that you can spend on things like that. But what I'm discovering is it costs anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 to have one of these books from start to finish without you with ghostwriters. And that sounds cool, but when you're just starting out, you've never published a book, it's important to kind of bootstrap and actually do the whole process and learn how you're doing. Now, if you have the money, that's an incredible route. You can do your research, you can find, holes in the market, or you can find things that you're interested or you already know about, and then you can take off. I heard once, if you want to make a book really fast, then write about what you already know. So that's very cool. But what I want to talk to you about today is another way to write your book really fast. And the way that you do this is by basically creating slides. So first thing you want to do is you want to figure out what your book is about. Who is your audience? What's it about? What are the general categories that you're going to be putting it in? And then you want to go on Amazon and you want to take a look at other books in that category. And what you really want to do is you want to look inside their cover and see their table of contents. Not necessarily to steal it, but mostly just to get inspired, okay? But these are also great, outlines for the way that your book is going to go. Or at least to get ideas. And then you can add your own taste, your own flavors. You probably know more than some people, or you might not. But what you do is you look at their table of contents and then you make your own rough outline. Very rough, just kind of like boom, 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 boom. This is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going with this book. And then you have your beginning, middle, and end, of course, right? Once you have your outline all set up or all outlined, then it's time to make your first rough draft. Here is the magic of creating your rough draft while creating other content and while just being awesome. So you make Google Slides. I recommend Google Slides because then you can work on them on your phone wherever you are, okay? Or you can use any slides that you want. But you break them down into bullet points. You make a slide for each chapter, right? And then inside that slide, you make bullet points for each part of that chapter that you want to talk about, okay? And then what you do is you hop on your computer with a quality microphone, and I use Screencast-O-Matic. It's awesome, but you record yourself talking while you're going through these slides. And you could really bust this out in probably 2 or 3 hours, depending on the length of your book. And what you're really doing is you're not just talking about these lines, right? This is for a nonfiction book. Apologize for fiction book people. But you are teaching. The key thing is to be teaching these lines, teaching these bullet points. Because when you're teaching it, that comes off more authoritative and more book form than it would be if you're just casually talking about different things. So if you want to self-publish your first nonfiction book, this is what I recommend you do, is you talk these slides. So you video record, or you can audio record yourself, either whatever you're more comfortable with, you dictating these books. Now, if you have a little more cash flow, what I would do is I would hire a very impressive interviewer, and I would have somebody interview you, or have a friend of yours interview you who's like legitimately interested in what you're talking about. But without those, you make these slides and you can create a really fast book. So you record your voice, and I would just do chapter by chapter, right? And then you save the video. Now this video can be turned into a course, can be turned into a podcast, can be turned into lots of other content, but the main goal is to create a book fast. So you do chapter by chapter by chapter, right? Then you have them transcribed. If you want really clean transcriptions, then you pay $1 per minute at Rev. If you want like a computer to do it, which is just as good, or not, I don't really see I don't really use Rev. I use Timmy, Temi.com, and they're awesome because they'll transcribe it for, I think it's 25 cents a minute now. It used to be 10 cents a minute, but they upped the price because they're rude. I also just found out about Otter.io, and what Otter does is you only pay $9.99 a month. So if you're gonna do quite a few transcription things, then you can upload all the audio files on that and it'll transcribe it automatically for you. So I think I'm gonna switch to them. Regardless, you transcribe it, you have somebody make it sound less like you talking and more like an article, right? And then this will be your first rough draft for your book. The next step that you do for your book is to essentially have a VA or a friend or somebody go through and make it more into a book format, right? And you can do this by yourself too in a Word document. You essentially just find the formatting tool for Kindle, and you do it before you really upload the transcript. You set your page numbers, you set your chapters, you set up ahead of time, and then you upload your transcript in there. And then you can edit them for the Kindle book line by line. And then at the bottom of every page, you can add a link to your lead magnet for whatever you're gonna sell or whatever you're trying to grow with this book. This, then, after you have your rough draft from your transcript, is sent off to an editor. Hire an editor on Upwork. You can Google editors. I wouldn't pay more than, $200 to $400, maybe less if you can find a good deal, but you really want someone to do a good job. But you're gonna have multiple people edit it because you're too close to the project. Really, I would have yourself edit it first, and then I would send it off to an editor. While you're doing this with the editor, you can start creating your book cover and maybe your landing pages. And maybe also start your launch party or your launch group. This group's gonna help you get a bunch of sales and reviews when you first launch your book. After you get it back from your editor, it's important that you get a really good cover. Hire somebody on Fiverr, you'll get an okay cover, but there's really professionals, and the truth is the title and the cover, just like everything else, is what's gonna sell your book the fastest. Once you have your cover and you have your edited version back, now it's time to really critique your own work and just go line by line, make sure that's right, make sure that it becomes formatted perfectly, not only for Kindle, but for, if you can find a package where they do Kindle books, published books, and everything else all together, it's going to be even better for you. So you want to have that all knocked out. Once you have that all put together, then it's just time to sell, time to upload your book. I would have a pre-launch, and I would try and get as many sales in your pre-launch as you possibly can. And then when it does launch, I would try and get as many reviews as you possibly can, because that's just gonna boost your numbers in Amazon. And you've just published your first book super fast. Now, the first time you do this, you might nail it out of the park, but it's a very long learning experience that you're going to take away from this experience to make your next book. And then you can start to find trending topics that people are really interested in, and you can vocally record each slide, and then you can have a course, a podcast about it, a YouTube videos about it, and a best-selling book coming out whenever you find something that really motivates you and really excites you. Okay, this has been a breakdown of how to publish a book fast, how to get fast results, and there's a lot more. That's just a very large overview. Okay, if you want to learn more, then check out my free course down below. Just a link. It says bit.ly evergreen free course, and it's going to teach you this whole process of becoming a famous video, podcast, self-publisher, and make money with affiliate. Just basically a whole breakdown of incredible passive income streams. You're also going to learn SEO and how to make websites. It's really powerful stuff I'm giving. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. evergreencreators.com.